US had productive talks with Putin over Ukraine war, Trump says. Hello guys, welcome to my video. And today we talk about US and Ukraine Russia war. US President Donald Trump has praised talks had held with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the US proposed ceasefire deal in Ukraine as good and productive. This comes after Putin and the US envoy Steve Witkoff Witkoff met Moscow on Thursday evening, after which the Kremlin said it shared the US caution optimism over a peace process. Trump said in a Truth Social post that the talks provided a very good chance that this horrible, bloody war can finally come to an end. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, however, accused Putin of trying to drag out talks to continue the war, while Sir Keir Starmer said the Russian president could not be allowed to play games with ceasefire proposals. Earlier this week, Ukraine accepted the US proposed ceasefire deal, which Russia is yet to agree to. On Thursday, Putin had said the idea of a ceasefire was right and we support it, but there are nonsense at, and he set out a number of top conditions for peace, a response branded manipulative by Zelensky. Ukraine's leaders continued his criticism on Friday in a series of posts on X, writing Putin cannot exit this war because that would leave him with nothing. That is why he is now doing everything he can to sabotage diplomacy by setting extremely difficult and unacceptable conditions right from the start, even before a ceasefire. He said Putin would drag everyone into endless discussions, wasting days, weeks, and months on meaningless talks while his guns continue to kill people. Every condition Putin puts forward is just an attempt to block the diplomacy. This is how Russia works, and we warned about this. UK PM Sir Keir said the Kremlin complete disregard from the Trump ceasefire proposal demonstrated Putin was not serious about peace. If Russia finally comes to the table, then we must be ready to monitor a ceasefire to ensure it is a serious and enduring peace, he said. If they don't, then we need to strain every scenario to ramp up economic pressure on Russia to secure an end to this war. On Saturday, Sir Keir will host a video call with as many as 25 leaders to develop the peacekeeping missions proposed during a summit in London earlier this month. The coalition of the willing, as he called it, will work to deter future Russian aggression should the US proposed ceasefire come into effect. In his social media post on Friday, Zelensky strongly urged everyone who can influence Russia, especially the United States, to take a strong step that can help because Putin would not stop the war on his own. Putin is lying about the real situation on the battlefield, the casualties, and the truth state of his economy. He said, explaining that Putin was doing everything possible to ensure that diplomacy fails because Russia is Russia. But the White House believes the two sides have never been this close to peace. Talking to reporters, White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt maintained that the talks between Putin and Witkoff on Moscow on Thursday were productive. She added Trump has been putting pressure on Putin and Russians to do right thing. Trump's social media post also strongly requested Putin should spare the lives of Ukrainian troops whom he described as surrounded by Russian forces, adding it would be a horrible massacre not seen since World War II. His comments came after Putin said on Thursday that Ukrainian troops in Kursk had been isolated and were trying to live as Russia ramps up efforts and reclaim the region invaded by Ukraine last year. But on Friday, Ukraine's armed forces general staff denied the encirclement of its troops, calling it false and fabricated. In a statement, it said operations were continuing with Ukrainian troops having withdrawn and successfully regrouped to better defensive positions. There is no threat of encirclement of our units, it said. In response to Trump's request, Putin said Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk would be treated with dignity in line with the norms of international law and the laws of the Russian Federation if they gave up arms and surrendered. Meanwhile, G7 members have been meeting in Quebec, where host Canadian Foreign Minister Melania Joly said all the members agreed with the US proposal of a ceasefire that is supported by Ukrainians, and we are now studying and looking at Russia's reactions, and ultimately the ball is now in Russian court when it comes to Ukraine. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy, who who was also at the meeting, said the members were united in calling for a ceasefire with no conditions. Following the meeting, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the US would not make foreign policy decisions based on what leaders said on social media or at a news conference. At Steve stressed the only way to end this war is through a process of negotiations. Right, the talking process. You see the level of talking leaders. Okay, guys, thank you for watching my video. We will meet next video. So bye bye.